The history of fashion is marked by a handful of people that were true visionaries and could anticipate fashion trends. Iconic designers were able to capture and translate the vibes of their time into fashion silhouettes. Today, social media has enabled the customer to instantly share fashion preferences. As a result, big data and technology are quickly reshaping the role of fashion masterminds. Let us take a minute to investigate how fashion masterminds were operating in the past and how data analytics is changing the fashion landscape of the future. Historically, the greatness of fashion designers was determined by how well connected they are to the up-and-coming social vibe and how good they are at translating that vibe into an actual garment. The first renowned designer who was able to do that was Charles Worth. He is also considered to be the father of couture. Worth carefully crafted his own reputation as an artist and visionary rather than tailor or business owner. But most importantly, he pioneered the image of the fashion mastermind who could look into the future and somehow see what customers want. The first few decades of the 20th century were marked by the launch of the feminist movement and the emergence of the middle class. Women wanted a more relaxed look that supported their independence and influence. The fashion relay was passed over to Coco Chanel, who managed to capture this longing for comfort, elegance, and simplicity. She challenged the most conventional trends with designs that were practical, glamorous, exquisite all at once. During the 40s and 50s, the post-war market craved something more lavish and feminine. It was a perfect timing for Christian Dior to bring back the bell-like silhouette. The 60s and the 70s were a time of hippie movement, sexual revolution, and a new boost in feminist trends. That was a solid ground for Yves Saint Laurent, who created the bohemian, sensual, and on certain occasions androgynous look. These iconic masterminds relied largely on their perception, creativity, and instincts. But will that always be the case? How is the mastermind changing in the light of the digital revolution? To answer that question, let's engage in a thought experiment and ask ourselves, what is garment design? In essence, it's just a combination of proportion, cut, and choice of textile. Now let's imagine that there is a huge mall that has all the possible combinations of these three dimensions. And now let's imagine that we allowed a number of people selected from all around the world walk into that mall and pick 10 pieces for free. What would they pick? Acting as rational decision makers, they will pick things that are on trend. In essence, trends are the elements that appear more frequently between selections made by different people. Now let's assume that we run this experiment twice a year, 5 years in a row, with the same exact diverse pool of people. We will notice that there is a handful of them who get the trends a few months or maybe a full year before the trends are settled. Observed individually at the time of their decisions, those choices might look a bit bizarre. But as we go fast forward a few months, we end up discovering that they were the true visionaries. Identifying these people and getting their perspective early on might give brands time to organize a merchandising game and ultimately win it. Our thought experiment might seem a bit far-fetched, but in reality, we already have the universe of virtually unlimited options, where people are picking things every single day. The beauty of the digital era is that people are ready to share their likes on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. This data can be extracted and mined in a variety of ways. But who is going to do that? Is the new Yves Saint Laurent secretly analyzing fashion trends at 2 a.m.? Or is that going to be a nerd in a hoodie working out of a Starbucks? Can he be the new fashion mastermind? Let's think about it. The classic fashion mastermind is engaged in two major phases of the creative process. First, it's perception, where moods and social vibes are being absorbed and taken in. And then it's creation, where conceptual ideas take shape and form. The nerd might not know much about design or garment creation, but he can replace the perception phase with an objective data analysis. In a matter of hours, he can connect to millions of customers all around the world, extract millions of photos shared and pinned on social media, process them using image recognition software, flag certain trends, track patterns, and finally, forecast demand. The true downside of the classic mastermind is their need to be in one place at a time in order to have a good assessment of their environment. They simply cannot connect with many markets simultaneously. The guy in the hoodie, on the other hand, does not care about geography or social vibes or demographics. All he needs is data, and he is ready to break the long tail down to the last customer. With the right pattern recognition algorithm, the nerd can make the assortment of any fashion retailer an absolute hit. Today, things are slowly starting to change. Fashion and big data might not be married just yet, but they are definitely engaged. Making bets in fashion might soon become a thing of the past, and this multi-billion-dollar industry will finally open the door to big data analytics.